Welcome to the Life Hacks Show. Life Hacks gives you proof hacks and tips for the best version of yourself. And here's your crash test dummy for a better life, Marcus Moirer.
Hey everybody, welcome back to, well, this is actually a very special show.
Yes.
The format is going to be quite different because we're doing a twofer on this one. Marcus, would you like to elaborate?
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Marcus from the Life Hacks podcast, and I'm very happy about this new format we are just trying out here.
Yes. See, what's going on is Marcus is going to publish this episode on his podcast. So everybody who's listening to this is like, obviously, I knew that. We're listening to Marcus's. And so everybody who's listening to Love Affair Travel, this is a twofer. So you get two people for one. I hope it works out.
Yeah, just see what works. It will work out.
So Marcus is running the DNX camp right now here in Koh Lanta. We're on the islands. It's been really interesting because they're staying at the same co-working space as us. So this group of people have come here and you guys are working together on various different projects. And so this is the quintessential digital nomad type situation, right?
Yeah, right. We're gathering here 15 people on Koh Lanta for 10 days. And we're doing this format since nearly a year now. We did already camps on Tarifa in Spain, in Brazil, another one in Lisbon, and now we're here on Koh Lanta and I'm planning more camps. And it works out really well for us to even deeper connect digital nomads, vice versa, and work together with them on their project and do workshops, mastermind sessions, give talks, but also do fun activities like going on a boat trip here on Koh Lanta or going diving. So it's lots of fun.
Is that your main business, or do you is running the events your main business, or do you do other things as well?
So we're doing quite a lot of things at the moment. When we started into this location independent lifestyle 3.5 years ago, we started as freelancers, and I was freelancing for startups in Berlin, doing the online marketing campaigns for them. And we also built some websites, and at the same time, I was traveling with my girlfriend in Asia. We started a travel blog, a backpacking blog. And after 3 years, this took really off. So we could make a living just from the blog at the moment.
So you were working on the blog and the freelancing for the first 3 years? Or when you started, did you?
So we started out with the blog and the freelancing. And then after 1 year, we started a conference about the digital nomad lifestyle. And this came from the demand of the people in Germany. They wanted to know what we are really doing. They've seen our Facebook pictures, but they didn't get it. So we were answering lots of questions and emails. And at the end, we said, you know what? Let's do a little meetup in Berlin in the Beta House co-working space. We will come on the stage. You can ask us everything. And this really took off. At the end, we had more than 200 people and was sold out in 3 days.
So was that how you started? Like, what was the first... I mean, it sounds to me like you were working technology in Germany, and then there was a point where you didn't have to be in Germany, right? What was that transition like?
Yeah, I was employed as online marketing manager. Started out as...
Was that like in an office in Germany and commuting to work and everything and that kind of thing?
Yeah, it was a typical 9-to-5 job. The cool thing was it was in a startup in Berlin or a different startup. So I was... working in the startups in there, doing SEO and then gaining more knowledge and getting broader and did all the online marketing stuff. But at a certain point I said, I think I'm ready to do my own business and my own stuff. So I quit my job and founded a company, but it was never meant to run it remotely from everywhere. The idea was to just start an agency in Berlin. But then things changed when we were on a half-year trip in Asia, and I brought my laptop with me and started to work on like the concept and try to get the first clients. And I got the first clients, and I started to work while being on the road. Yeah, and then being on the road, traveling and getting the first client and actually getting the first bill paid changed everything.
Yeah, that's a big deal, right? Like, I remember having because when I started traveling, like traveling for me at first was like getting crappy jobs to every city that I went to. So it'd be like you go to New Zealand and you get a job in construction. You go to Australia and you get a job in, or cattle farming or something like that. And it was really hard because first off, you had to start from scratch with each job. Nobody trusts you because you don't have any experience, and they shouldn't really. But the cool thing about the technology, I'm sure this played a big role for you, is that you have your first client and they're happy with you traveling. You can continue to build that relationship over time.
Yes, that helped a lot. And especially it helped that before that we worked in a 9-to-5 job for a long time. So I started out with my girlfriend. That's why I say sometimes we.
Yeah.
We started together in this lifestyle. And we both worked for a long time in the corporate world in a 9-to-5 job. And so not everything is bad in this 9-to-5 world. Some digital nomads now tend to just say it's all rubbish. It helped a lot to know how companies think and what they want to get from their clients. Or so having a technology background helped us a lot to get started into the lifestyle.
Yeah, that's cool. And so now are the events and the conferences you guys putting on replacing your freelance stuff, or what's keeping you the most busy now?
Yeah, actually we built up a team. It's fully remote. Last year we hired the first VA, and since then I got the trust to give some work to other people. It took a long time for me, and now we really grow this team. It's now 15 or 16 people.
Cool.
We're just handling with them with Trello. And
is it mostly German people, or is it people from all over? Or
it's from all over the world.
Really?
So we have copywriters, we have translators, we have accountants, we have lots of VAs, we have designers. They sit everywhere. But back to your question, if we are still doing the freelancing work, is that we automated the leads we get, and there's a team working on this freelancing things. So I'm not doing it anymore operationally. This gives me space to work on these conferences we are doing, on the DNX camps. I also started my podcast. We are starting now on Amazon FBA selling and had a huge success yesterday, the biggest sale day ever. My girlfriend is really deep into this at the moment. So yeah, we are quite active, and we are just happy about the freedom, the entrepreneurial freedom we are just enjoying at the moment, or since 3 years, and I don't know if it will ever stop.
Yeah, that's amazing. I feel the same way. We're doing the same thing. My wife works with me on everything too. So, and we have got the productizing services, and then outsourcing the sort of job part of that, or the real time constraining parts. That's been really helpful for us too with podcast production.
Yeah, where did you find your people for outsourcing your productized service? So for all the listeners, maybe you can explain what you're doing.
And if somebody wants to become a podcast producer, this is the way to do it. So the way that we found people, the way that I found the guy who's kind of like he was like the number one guy to come in and work with me on it. His name is Jonah, and Jonah actually had started a podcast production company. And then I saw his website, and I knew we were doing the same thing. And I just reached out to him, and then we just joined forces. So that was number one. And then now our process is a little bit more complex, because not complex, but interesting, and something that would be repeatable, because we have I did an Udemy course on exactly how to produce podcasts.
Okay.
And so now what I do is if people reach out to us, then maybe I connect them with the course. And then if they go through the course, they learn how to make podcasts. And then once they're established people that know how to make shows, then it's easy to say, okay, sure. And then they'll run and edit a few episodes of this podcast, Love Affair Travel. And then if they do that successfully and they keep with us, then there's no reason to not put them on stuff.
Wow, that's a pretty smart onboarding process you set up.
Great. Yeah. And the cool thing is, like, if you make bad decisions or something, like somebody looks a lot better on paper than they were. And also, if people look not as good on paper, but they're actually really good, you sift it out and it costs 0 time. You're just like, hey, here, you can do this. It's like 3 hours, and send me your iTunes link when you're done. Then their work speaks for themselves. And even if they couldn't speak English, I'd be fine with giving it, We do need people who can write well in English, though. That's important.
Okay, so what are you doing exactly? When I would come to you, what do you need from me being a podcaster?
Yeah, like for you, like this audio file, when I'm done making this, I'm going to export audio, and then I can save it to a hard drive, right? But you could save it straight to a Dropbox file, and then send us an email, be like, audio's in the Dropbox file. And then 2 or 3 days later, your WordPress website would have like a filled blog with a fully audio engineered podcast. So all you'd have to do is look through it, maybe shift some stuff around, All the links are in there, all the show notes, timestamps.
So you take
A
it
bunch
out
of
of the
writing.
audio file. I don't have to tell you, please put
Yeah.
this and this link in the show notes.
Exactly.
That's cool.
So anybody who runs a podcast is like, their eyes always open up when I'm talking to them about this, right?
Yeah. Because
Whoa!
this is still also a hard deal for me. At the moment, my VA does all the producing and mastering with some tools in the background. But yeah, I still have to give her the show notes because sometimes she doesn't get it and she's not so technical from the background.
Yeah. Well, and another thing is for really busy people is that you need to teach people how to do it, right? And so if you hire us, you don't have to teach us how to do it at all. It'll probably be better because, we've produced at least 500 podcasts for sure by now. So we've got like 16 clients shows on iTunes that are producing weekly, bi-weekly shows. So
all in English?
We did one in Norwegian.
How was it?
Well, we'd never understood it. We couldn't write the show notes for that one. It sounds great. I mean, none of us know exactly what it's about. But that one's a specific example because it was a little bit easier. But yeah, most of them are in English.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And this is your main project? This is your main income source at the moment?
Yeah.
So how many people do you have in your team now on board?
Veronica, myself, and then 3 other people. 1 in the UK and 2 in Portland.
And the other guy you joined forces with, he's still on board or he's still out?
Yeah. He's incredibly important. If Jonah's listening to this, I feel bad though because I'm in Thailand and he's in Portland, and usually we would talk a lot like day to day, but now when I wake up in the morning, it's right about the time he wants to go to bed, so we're never really awake. So since we've been in Thailand, it's been very distant, but because of the way we structure everything, it doesn't really affect the business. It's probably not growing as quickly as if I were in the US or if it's in the same time zone for that matter. But, when I get back to the US, I think it'll just start up. And the ongoing stuff isn't affected by it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the time zone thing is also for us a big challenge, having the whole team scattered all over the world.
But it can be a challenge, but it also can be an advantage, right? Because sometimes you'll have stuff that you need done and you work up until the last minute of your conscious working hours, and then you go to sleep and you wake up and it's like, whoa, somebody worked on it the whole time I was asleep. So as long as you can structure it in a good way, the time zone can be a useful tool.
Yeah, but I always I feel it when I'm in different time zones and working with clients, for instance, in Europe, and now we are in front of the time, so it's very cool. Everybody's sleeping when I get in the morning to the computer and get things done, no emails come in, and I'm not distracted, and but
and you can
the
use
other
Google
way,
Voice to like wake up, and they're like right at 9 o'clock, you can call them and you're really sharp and really onto it.
Yeah.
Well researched, and they're like, oh, I just woke up, you're so good. Thanks.
Yeah, this is funny because I just read like a hack from a lawyer. When he's doing very, very hard stuff, he always puts the appointments in the very late evening with the other lawyers. So he's sleeping all day, and then he gets way awake at 8 p.m. to these hard negotiations.
Yeah.
But what I also see is when we are, for instance, in Brazil, we have been there at the end of last year. We are behind the time, and then I always feel rushed. Even though I know I don't have to feel rushed, I'm just in another time zone, but the inbox is full, my Trello is full, my Wunderlist is full, and everybody was working like in Europe or in Australia or in Thailand, and I have to catch up then, like in the American time zone.
Yeah. Well, then it becomes a matter of, the point that you mentioned earlier is delegating responsibilities and things and not being responsible for things. Mm-hmm. For me, it's like a lot of the times whenever we're doing stuff that has to do with ongoing production and freedom podcasting, it's my job's to figure out how to make it so that I don't have an inbox for that thing, right? Mm. That's just critical. Because otherwise things can't grow without you. And if things can't grow without you, then, you're the problem.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm trying to get better in this, but it's hard. I think there is not many resources to learn, like, going this step to build up a team and to delegate and to give responsibility to other people and trust them, and just don't be too perfectionistic. If they do something the other way, it could be even better than your way. But you have to get it.
There's Seth Godin has that podcast. Have you heard of this one called Startup something?
Startup School?
Startup School, yeah. That's Seth Godin.
Yeah.
That one's great. And then the Tropical MBA guys have a really great one on standard operating document, an SOD, and how to write that and then use that.
Yeah.
Those are the two critical things for me in like being able to give that away. And then I started giving away stuff that I really wanted to do too. Like even podcasts that like I really wanted to do them. And so giving them away was like, it was like a lost. Like I'm paying somebody else to do something that I like to do. And like, and so, yeah, but every time you do it, every time you take that step and do something, usually it, you know, like now I wouldn't really want to do the show as much because I like just being able to listen to it on my own time.
You have to learn to value your time better.
Yeah.
Because I also come from the SEO thing, and sometimes we have to do SEO tasks, but now we have an agency doing this, and then I say, oh, maybe I could do it, and I have the server access. So it's really tempting.
It only takes me 30 minutes. I know this, right? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing about that being on the internet is that there's always limitless things to do, right? Like some people ask me all the time, oh, are you done with work for the day? And I'm like, I don't even know what that would look like. Like there's 600,000 projects that I want to work on. And it's just a matter of prioritizing all the time. Being done is like, I don't think that I'll ever become. This is the first time I've ever done a standing up interview. Because right now we're standing underneath this Buddhist statue in the back of Co-Hub, and we're standing. So what do you think, Marcus? Is this a good way to do interviews?
Yeah, I heard about researchers that when you want to sell something or you want to be more persuading, then you should stand up to raise your voice and to speak even louder. It's cool.
It's cool, but it's also like 100 degrees outside right now, so we're both sweating.
Yeah, I think there are many people who wanted to change now with us. So it's a first world problem to sweat in Thailand and
agreed.
Record a podcast.
Yeah, definitely. What are some of the normal questions you ask people on your show?
It's about do you have a special morning routine, and how do you tackle this issue that many entrepreneurs have to get into the flow, to get into the zone, and to get productive?
Yeah. Oh, cool. I'm like the anti-morning routine person though. Like I do something different all the time. I feel like it's because I travel so often, you know. And when you live in new places, like in Chiang Mai, we had different schedules than here. And when I'm in Australia, I wake up super early to go surfing, and then I wake up at like 6 o'clock every morning to go surfing and go check the surf and see what it's like. Then here, there's no reason to wake up early, so I've been waking up at like 10 or 11, and so I just don't have one.
How do you structure your day? Do you have any tools you use?
Not really. I just so sometimes I have production work because I still keep one show. I do the Tim Ferriss show, which means that I kind of am reactive to the way that they send me stuff, and I just like doing it so much, and it's so interesting. And it's like a big kind of marketing thing for our company too, to say that we do that one because it's so big.
Yeah, totally.
So I'm reactive in a lot of ways to that. So sometimes they'll send me stuff and I'll end up staying up late to do it, or spending like a whole week doing like a collection of shows. But then I'll have like a week where they don't send me anything too. So then I work on all the other stuff. So
it's not very predictable how many shows you get especially from this Tim Ferriss show?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of predictable. Like it's not very predictable. I know that they're going to be there sometimes. But
this is what I see when he publishes his episode and try to find a certain system or pattern, but there's none.
Yeah, there's like, I don't think that there's any.
But this is how to do it, and not to make a science out of everything. Just get started and get the content out.
Yeah. I mean, I like doing that, and then like right now it's March. And so next month is tax season in the U.S., so I'm taking care of our books and wrapping up a bunch of legal stuff for the whole year. And so I'm really busy right now, whereas most of the year I don't have quite as much back-end stuff that's going on right now. And I don't know. Other thing is I just get excited about working, so it never feels like work for me. I think that that's the key to why I'm able to do so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is really true. For how long are you doing this lifestyle now?
Well, like I said, I was doing like that, that job, the job to job type thing. I was doing that for a few years.
When was it?
Probably mid 2009 to 2011 about.
Okay.
And then in 2011, I started with that. So about 5 years of internet.
Where did you get your knowledge about producing a podcast and all the internet stuff?
I was looking for an internship in some sort of internet business type thing, and at the time, Chris Ducker had a podcast called the Virtual Business Lifestyle, and he ran an internship for somebody to come, and it was like a replace me internship, and so I went to the Philippines. Yeah. And then so he taught me how to do everything that I knew how to do when I was there, and we got done with pretty much everything that we were going to do in like 3 months. So it was supposed to be a year, but I just spent 3 months there. And then he introduced me to Lewis Howes, who does the School of Greatness podcast. I helped him make that, and then while working with Lewis doing podcasting, and we got the rest of our clients, and that's where we're now.
Yeah, this is how it goes sometimes. Just create opportunities, be there, be visible.
Yeah. In service businesses, it's all about word of mouth. Like we have SEO, and people come to our website and leave the survey for us to contact them, and those are almost like 90% not even worth our time to check out. But then sometimes,
why?
Just because they're not really qualified people. People are interested in starting a podcast, but when they find out the time constraints and they don't really have like a business that's set up to where podcasting will work, right? Like, because podcasts aren't good for people, especially from a money making perspective, if you don't have a system behind it. And so it's like funnel marketing. Podcasts are a great top end of your funnel, but you have to have a pretty good funnel behind it if you're doing it for that reason. And everybody does podcasts for different reasons, but the thing is that people who find the work that we do on iTunes tend to ask, say their friend has a podcast on iTunes. They're like, how'd you do this? And then they say, these guys. And then when they reach out to us, it's like, hey, I want to launch in February. And we're like, okay, cool. And so when you think about the difference between that and trying to qualify and tell the story of what you do to somebody, it's just completely different. And so doing good work for people and putting everything that you have into them being successful is the best way to get clients.
Yeah, it is. The rest will follow always. If you put everything you have and all your passion into something, let it be the clients, let it be the money, let it be the reach, let it be the audience. Everything will follow. Yeah. I'm pretty sure about it, because
unless you do it into something really silly.
Yeah. But as long as you try to do something good and solve a problem for someone, or it will work. It will work out.
Especially if you solve problems for busy people. People who are really busy have a lot of ways that they want to leverage their time, and so if you can focus on supporting that, I think it's really it's an easizier market, because they have the resources to pay you and that kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. So yesterday evening we were both doing CrossFit together. You're a real pro.
Yeah.
I still have to catch up to get on your level. But you were mentioning to me that I think, especially in the last months, you really enjoy your location independent lifestyle, because we start to meet more and more people wherever we go, and there are more and more hotspots we can go to, and we know already so many people just from online and from Skype interviews and catching up on Facebook, and now it's like really always exciting to go into hubs like the Co-Hub or to Chiang Mai, and there are some other people from my industry.
Yeah, and it's like, especially for us, because it was a really strange thing, because Veronica and I were dealing with immigration stuff, so we were either stuck in the United States, which was fine, and the U.S. is probably a great place. We just would always end up in cities.
She's from Australia, right?
Right. And so we have to be in the U.S. some parts of the year, and we have to be in Australia. Australia is really not. I mean, I guess the Gold Coast isn't great for the location independent stuff. I mean, the internet's slow there, and it's an expensive place to live, especially if you have a the internet's slow in Australia, which is crazy, because it's one of the most organized, beautiful, safe countries in the world, but they just I don't know. I think it's because there's only 22 million people on an island, the size of the continental US, and so they just don't have. There's not as many people buying internet there for them to be able to invest, whatever $100 million into like the infrastructure that they need to have good internet. But anyways, the point is that we were living in places a lot of the time where there weren't people doing internet business stuff like this, and so when we came here, and there's just everybody. We're surrounded by people. There's like, I'm looking over at Co-Hub right now. There's probably like 30 people that all have similar stuff. It's really interesting, and it's really fun. it doesn't make you feel so alone, you know?
Yeah, and this is one of the biggest challenge we faced. Even we were doing business together and traveling together with my girlfriend. We sometimes feel lonely on the road and said, where are the like-minded people? We were working in hostels where people get drunk and they were falling over our cables. And once they really crashed my MacBook down because there was a party going on the rooftop. And we were really in the flow with our headphones in the zone. And we didn't recognize what changed in the last 2 hours around us. But then everybody was drunk. And I just saw it when my MacBook was on the ground. So there were crazy times, but it's cool that somehow it evolves, it grows up, it gets more professional. This is cool. It's very exciting.
And it's hard to live in places where people, like a place like Koh Lanta, everybody who comes here is pretty much vacationing. And so when you go to like the different places, how cool is this music right now? I hope it's coming through.
Where's it from?
It's coming through. There's some truck driving around with giant speakers in the back of it right now.
Yeah. Well, it's not the Muay Thai track.
It's not. Usually they're advertising the Muay Thai. But the thing that it's hard living in these resort areas all the time because when location's not a problem, you tend to migrate to places that are like resort-like, right? But when you go there, there's always people that are there for resorting and partying and stuff. So it's not the best environment because it's so easy to just go out and have fun with people.
Yeah. Then you get distracted from your main focus. So I wouldn't say I don't go out and never have fun, but you have a different lifestyle and a different life if you're an entrepreneur, and especially an online entrepreneur, and then especially a traveling online entrepreneur, roaming around the world. It's lots of different challenges and things you have to face.
They're cool challenges. It's funny though because like even when we do really fun things, sometimes I feel like I'd rather be working, right? Like I really like to work, and so sometimes I'll find myself like, getting ready to go on like a horseback ride or like a scuba diving trip, and I'll be like, man, I don't know, I think I should just stay home and do this or whatever, and
same for us. Sometimes my girlfriend has to force me, or vice versa. I have to say, come on, Philly, we're working now since 5 days here in our Airbnb or apartment or in the co-hub and in a co-working space. So we try to work from different environments. And I said, come on, we have to shut our laptops and go diving for one day.
Yeah.
And then it really helps because it gives you more headspace again, and you're not too deep into your own bubble world.
Yeah. Well, that's the game, the digital nomad thing. So a lot of times I talk to people who like do all sorts of different adventures and things. This is really the digital nomad thing, and I think it's really cool what you've been setting up with DNX.
It's getting louder. They're surrounding us.
I think it's really cool what you're doing with DNX and sort of being a meeting point for a lot of people that are doing this kind of thing. So, for people who are listening to this, if they want to learn more about your projects or get involved with one of your camps or your conventions, where would they find you?
We set up a hub page for all our activities that are going on under the brand DNX, and it's on dnxhub.com, and there you will find the conferences.
DNX Hub, HUB?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
There you find the conferences, the camps. So we started a job board with location independent jobs. We got a toolbox. We got many more ideas, and there's lots more to come. So it's very exciting.
Yeah, it's a thriving space. Like the more that I see there, I just see so much more advertising, and the work that you guys
They're
are doing
coming
is
closer.
Great. There's a giant truck driving around with huge, like 5 foot by 5 foot speakers that's just screaming out right now. That's what you're hearing in the background.
It's a thriving space, but we shouldn't forget to think about what we are doing and try to do cool and sustainable stuff, because we as Digital Nomads, we have a great opportunity. Since we are traveling the world, we have the big picture of the real world. We are not living in our bubble in New York at the Golden Coast or somewhere else in Berlin.
Right.
We have the big picture. We have the tools to create stuff as an entrepreneur, and combining these two tools and connecting with the local community. I think this is a real big responsibility we have, and also a big opportunity to use it wisely, because the whole world is, I have the feeling many people are watching us at the moment, because they they really understand now we are the future of work, and in some years it's just a normal thing to do remote work. It's one thing you can do your work, not sitting in a cubicle anymore. So yeah, we have to use it wisely what we are doing.
Yeah, agreed. I've been noticed that there's this sort of sense of like omnipotence, as if everybody's going to become remote workers in the future, and I really think that that's silly. But like, because you can't have people who are like doing most of the jobs in the world. So like, I always think that I think really high tech and intelligent jobs are all going to go remote, because the smartest people were going to be able to want to be remote rather than be in an office, perhaps. But I still think that in the long run, we'll kind of be like the strange people that are.
Yeah, no, we'll never be mainstream, but it will be an asset in the future of work, and also especially for companies who are seeking talent and looking for talented people. It's a big asset in the war for talents if they say you can work from everywhere.
Yeah.
To get the best and the smartest people, especially in the tech scene.
Yeah, that's great. So that's pretty much how I would roll out the podcast. Do you got anything else to add?
No, I'm happy with the podcast. Thank you.
Thank you for being on my podcast and having me on your podcast at the same time.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Was great fun.
All right, you rock, man.
Yes, yo. This was another episode of the Life Hacks Show. If you love what you're listening to and can use some of the tools and hacks we are sharing on the Life Hacks Show, I would be more than happy if you can give me a review or rating on iTunes. Follow me on facebook.com/Moira Markus and just ping me and give me some feedback that would mean the world to me. So long, have fun, peace and out.